In the next few weeks, in Austin, Texas, a car is going to pull up to a stranger on a public road. There will be no driver. There will also be no steering wheel, no pedals, no brake. Nothing inside that car that a human being could use to take control if something goes wrong. And here is the part most people have not noticed. The company building it has been promising this exact moment every single year since 2016. So the real question is not whether Tesla can build the car. It is whether the software inside it is ready this time. This is Innover. Discover what's changing the world. Today, Tesla's Cybercab. What is actually launching, what the numbers say, and why this one launch carries more risk for Tesla than anything else it has ever built. First, the news itself. According to a report from The Information, Tesla has told its own employees to prepare for a public launch of the Cybercab in Austin as soon as this month. The rollout is planned in stages. Employees get rides first, on public roads. Then, a few days later, Cybercabs get added into Tesla's existing robotaxi service, which real members of the public can already hail with an app. Tesla has not officially confirmed the report, but it did quietly do something that says plenty. It launched a lottery. Ride in a robotaxi before a certain date, and you get a chance to attend the Cybercab launch event. You do not run a launch event lottery for a product that is not launching. So what is the Cybercab? A small two-seater, butterfly doors, a small battery, almost no cargo space, and no conventional controls at all. This is not a Tesla with self-driving added on top. This is a car that physically cannot be driven by a person. Now, to understand why this is such a big moment, you need the history. Elon Musk has promised fully driverless Teslas nearly every year since 2016. In some years, he said it was months away. In some years, he said the problem was solved. Just last July, he said Tesla would likely have autonomous ride-hailing available to roughly half the population of the United States by the end of that year. That did not happen. Not close. Operations stayed limited to Austin and the San Francisco Bay Area. And this pattern matters because it changes how you should read the current headlines. When you hear that Tesla is launching, the useful question is never what was announced. It is what is actually running on the road and at what scale. So let's look at that. Here are two numbers that put this entire story in perspective. Tesla's robotaxi program, roughly a year into operating, is running at a rate of a few 100,000 driverless miles per year. Waymo, the Google-backed company, has driven well over 200 million. That is not a small gap. That is a different scale entirely. And there is a detail here that I find genuinely fascinating. For a long time, nobody outside Tesla knew how big the Austin fleet actually was. Musk had talked about hundreds of vehicles. So a 19-year-old engineering student at Texas A&M reverse-engineered Tesla's own robotaxi app to count them. He found around 32 cars. 32. Against a public claim of 500 by year-end. Now, in fairness, that fleet has grown since. But it tells you something important. The gap between what gets announced and what is physically on the road has been very wide for a very long time. Now, the part that actually matters, because this is a machine moving through a city with people in it. Manufacturers running automated driving systems have to report crashes to the American Road Safety Regulator. So there is real data. Analysis of those filings found the Austin robotaxi fleet involved in 14 crash incidents across roughly 800,000 miles. That works out to about one crash every 57,000 miles. For comparison, the average human driver in the United States is involved in a police-reported crash about once every 500,000 miles. Waymo, operating with no human monitor on board, sits at roughly one incident every 98,000 miles. So on the current published data, Tesla's system is not yet performing at human level, let alone above it. And there is a second issue that gets far less attention. Every one of those crash reports has a section describing what actually happened. Tesla redacts that section, all of it, marked as confidential business information. Waymo does not. Zoox does not. Aurora and Neuro do not. They publish descriptions of their incidents, which means that if you are a passenger in Austin, you have no way to find out whether the car was at fault in any of those crashes. You are being asked to trust the number without seeing the story behind it. Now here is the detail I think is the most revealing of all. In January this year, Tesla announced it was removing the human safety monitors from some of its Austin robotaxis. Headlines everywhere. The stock jumped over 4% in a day. Genuinely driverless, at last. Except video from Austin showed something else. The safety monitor had not been removed. The safety monitor had been moved out of the passenger seat and into a chase car following closely behind. Now, to be fair, this is a normal step in the industry. Most serious self-driving companies go through exactly this phase. It is considered a responsible way to work toward removing the human completely. But it is not the same thing as no supervision, and it was widely reported as if it were. By the middle of this year, Tesla's Austin fleet was reported to be running genuinely unsupervised. That is real progress, and it deserves to be said clearly. Meanwhile, the regulator sent Tesla a formal information request in May, citing concerns about how the system performs in poor visibility. Both of those things are true at the same time. So why does the Cybercab specifically raise the stakes so much? Because every robotaxi Tesla runs today is a Model Y, a normal car. If the software fails, there is a wheel, there are pedals, and there is a fallback. And if the robotaxi business does not work out, Tesla can just sell those cars to people. The Cybercab has no fallback and no second use. Take away the autonomy, and what is left is a two-seater with no steering wheel, small range, no boot space, and no way to take it anywhere you actually want to go. There is no version of that car that works as a normal product. Its entire value depends on the software being good enough. That is the bet. And to be fair to Tesla, there is a serious argument on the other side. Waymo's vehicles carry expensive sensor equipment. Tesla's approach uses cameras and software, which is dramatically cheaper to build at volume. If Tesla does solve it, it can flood cities with cheap, purpose-built cars in a way that a company with expensive hardware simply cannot match. That is the whole strategy. Lower cost per mile than anyone else, at a scale nobody else can afford. It only works if the software gets there, and on published numbers, it is not there yet. So here is where this actually lands. Tesla is about to do something genuinely historic. A purpose-built car, with no controls at all, carrying members of the public on real streets. Very few companies on Earth are anywhere near attempting that. And at the same time, the public safety data says the system is still behind both human drivers and its closest competitor. The crash reports are redacted. The fleet is small, and the timelines have slipped, publicly, for a decade. Both of those are true. This is exciting and unproven at once, and anyone telling you it is purely one or the other is selling you something. So the question I would leave you with is this. If a car pulled up to you tomorrow with no steering wheel and no pedals, and you knew the company would not tell you what happened in its previous crashes, would you get in? Not would you eventually. Would you tomorrow? Tell us in the comments. We read them. Innover. Discover what's changing the world. See you in the next one.